The Queen. Okay, who's a fan of Queen? Okay. All right, so this past Monday, Glenn and I had the amazing opportunity to go to an event at the Royal Theatre. And let me just backtrack a few months, maybe like 6 months ago or something. We were at our friend's house for dinner, Sandy and Andy. And after dinner, Sandy's like, you guys have to come into the living room. I have to show you something on TV, okay? We're like, okay. So then she asked us if we've ever heard of this thing called choir. Anybody know what this is? Yes. Okay, so some people know. We went. All right, okay. Okay, so she shows us a few videos of choir, which is something that apparently started in Toronto, 2 guys about 15 years ago, getting together with friends of theirs to just sing music that they really, really loved. And it grew into this thing that is now touring all across North America, at least, I think. I don't know if they go beyond. And we didn't quite know what to expect because we just saw these videos of them with Rufus Wainwright at the distillery or something in Toronto with thousands of people singing Hallelujah. And then there was another song, and then there was another artist, and then there was something else, and we're looking at, them like directing the different voices, and they're all layered, and it's just regular people coming together for this event to just sing together, right? Oh, who's calling in? And so as we watch these videos, Sandy says, so for my birthday in November, what I've done is I've gotten 4 tickets to choir, because they're coming to Victoria, and they're doing Queen. Well, Queen is Glenn's favorite band. Well, that and the Jam, but from when he was young, Queen was his favorite band, my husband Glenn. And so I'm like, oh my God, what an opportunity for Glenn, right? Like, I know their music, but whatever. I was just super touched that of all the people they know, they asked us if we wanted to go and celebrate her birthday. So fast forward, and finally the day happens, and none of us really know what to expect. We're like walking in there, are they gonna separate us into like soprano, alto, bass, whatever, but like we have our seats, and how are they gonna do it? And so what ends up happening is it ends up being almost a comedy show. They're so hilarious and so entertaining. And the whole evening kind of like builds from one song to another with the participation getting more and more layered every time. You don't know what's coming next, but everyone there is a fan of Queen to some degree, right? And so we're just kind of caught up in this incredible groundswell of enthusiasm and, okay, we'll do what you're going to say, and I'm just going along for the ride. I'm not even thinking about it. I'm just giving myself permission to like go along with the wave of what's happening, right? It was so much fun. It was so incredible, and I have to say I was really surprised with how many lyrics I knew because I'm not a lyrics person, I'm a music and sound and voice person, but this is what it looked like we were about 8 rows from the front, and so this is our friend Sandy taking a picture, and I don't know how many Queen songs we sang, but at the end they're like, it wouldn't be a night of Queen if we didn't sing Bohemian Rhapsody. So they're like, okay, everybody, come on down to the stage. Before I know what's happening, Glenn grabs my hand and we're going down the aisle. And I'm like, what is happening right now? I'm the one who initiates, not Glenn. And so I know it's not really easy to see, but if you take a look at the light on the left side, right there, that's Glenn. And so he was filming in that direction, and I'm standing right in front of him, so behind the person in front of me who's taller, so I'm not there. But anyway, so we're singing, and it's so much fun, and it's so great, and the whole room is just alive, and everybody's like BFFs because we're all there for Queen and just singing along and everything, and it was just so fantastic. And throughout the night, even though it was a night of Queen, there would be these little spontaneous, interspersions of different music. Like all of a sudden he's singing Loverboy, and I find myself singing, like a Loverboy tune that I haven't sung since like grade 7. And then we're all singing Candle in the Wind, and they're, giving us different harmonies and parts that we're supposed to be singing, and it's beautiful. Like, this is the kind of event where you go there, and even if you think you can't sing, you're like part of a chorus, you're part of a choir, and you are the experience, you are the event, and it was magic. And so that whole experience for me was really this whole sort of thing about just don't stop and wait and analyze, just go with the flow. Just get caught up in the swell and the enthusiasm and the excitement of life, because life is living itself through you right now. Just let it, right? Don't stop. Don't try and figure it out, because if you do, you're going to miss it, right? So what ended up happening for me this week, this is what's alive in me right now, is we had this choir experience. And then last night we went to a party for a friend of ours who had his birthday last week, but because he's a bus operator and he works overnight, he only has certain days off, and last night was one of his nights off. So for some reason, I thought it was just going to be us and like their son and just a really small group of people. But we arrived there and there were a lot of people there. And they live in a suite that has a low ceiling with beautiful pot lights, but they're like right there. And so between all of the noise that was happening and all of the lights that were happening, all of a sudden I found myself like within seconds totally overstimulated. But I'm like, we're here to celebrate our friend. Like, I need to be able to like navigate this. So I'm sitting, we're talking to him, and I'm looking at him, and I'm trying to hold my ear, and I'm, to keep out that noise, and I'm squinting by looking at him to really pay attention, without just saying, you know what, I need to sit somewhere else, or I need to do something, or can I have a baseball cap or something? I'm just trying to like, bear it kind of thing. And he finally looks at me and goes, do you want to sit where I am so that you can actually see where all the sound is coming from, and maybe you'll be more comfortable? And I'm like, thank you for giving me permission to be more comfortable. And so I sit down, way better, but the lights are still happening. And then I kind of look over at our friend Janet, and I'm like, do you have a baseball cap by any chance? And sure enough, she did. So I put on this bright red baseball cap that has nothing to do with the outfit that I'm wearing. But as soon as I put it on, all of that extra light isn't coming in anymore, and I can hear people properly. And I was able to enjoy the rest of the evening. And it just made me think about, why sometimes do we not give ourselves permission to just be comfortable, to just enjoy life in the moment? Why do we have to wait for someone else to give us permission? If we go back to this concert, like every time a new song came on, or every time we were told, okay, this half of the room do this half of the room do this, and you guys got to come in on this note, and you guys got to come in on here. I'm not like, well, should I? Do I really want to? I don't know. I'm just like, yeah. And so I'm like, why can't I just do that in every single moment, of every single day? And so right now, I'm also in between fitness competitions. So I finished the 8-week one on Sunday. Grueling, intensive, and oh my God, what a transformation. And then Monday we start another one. And so this week is a week off, and it was suggested to us to don't work out, eat whatever you want, sleep as much as you want, just like treat yourself and take it easy. Well, I got to tell you, even Glenn asked me, so how are you doing this week so far? And I'm like, I miss the structure. I really miss the structure. I am a person who really appreciates structure, routine, eat this at this time, do this way, like something that I can just anchor myself in. Having freedom and spaciousness is really weird for me. And yet, I'm giving myself permission this week to lean into that weirdness, to appreciate the spaciousness, to realize, okay, perhaps my preference would be to have a little bit more structure in my day. However, let's just lean into this and see what it's like. And so this morning, instead of waking up at 4 or 5 like I regularly do, I actually slept until 8:30. Like, what is that? But it was so great, and clearly my body needed it. So I'm giving myself permission, and this is something that is kind of foreign to me, and so I'm trying it on, remembering what it was like for this 2-hour time period at this concert to just give myself permission to go with the flow and get caught up in this incredible, amazing, enthusiastic experience. And even though that was a 2-hour experience, there was a time limit on it, right? Just like there's a time limit on our life experience. I mean, we talk about how life is eternal, how what we are at our core, there's no bounds, there's no limits, it is ever-flowing kind of thing. We are the quantum field, we are God, we are source, we are endless love. And yet, the lifetime that we're experiencing in the bodies that we have, there is a shelf life to that, right? And so why would we want to stop and analyze and wait, and maybe I'll take a little bit more time before I actually live? You know, that first song that we sing, Cloudy Day, you know, life versus living, being alive versus living, existing versus actually participating in life and allowing it to flow and fulfill itself in, through, and as you. That's what it's about. And that's something that we really got to experience at this choir concert. So this morning, when I was going through my mindfulness practice and got to my Michael Hunter Instagram Up Spiral Life portion, he had a tiny little reel, and he said in it, people treat life like it's on pause until they're ready. But the universe doesn't respond to waiting, it responds to action. So life doesn't wait for us to get ready to live life. Life is happening, life is on the move all the time, and there's nothing that we need to do except to let it. And this is exactly what we got in a very, very concentrated way at this choir event. He also says, most people wait for certainty before taking action. It doesn't work like that. Certainty is built by taking action, not the other way around. So the title of my talk today is, Stop Waiting to Be Ready, Commit. And I didn't know what kind of image I was looking for, but when I saw this, and I thought, how many of us have experienced, being around a toddler or seeing, maybe in a movie or something, if we don't have kids of our own, what it takes for someone to learn to walk? They're not sitting there analyzing how many steps they're going to take, or, should I pause and wait half an hour before I try again? They just keep going because they are determined. They are committed to get up and move because that's what toddlers want to do. They want to move. They are being impelled from within to go and live life, right? And then somewhere along the way, the toddlers that we once are, sometimes we kind of slow down, we pause, and then we get caught up in the pause, and then we realize, oh, maybe I'm not ready for that. Maybe I don't have all the instructions. Maybe I don't know how to do it. Maybe I'm too old. Maybe I'm too weak. Maybe whatever. But ultimately, the life that is living us is always, always, always on the move. It is always impelling us to keep moving forward, to keep taking action. And so it's up to us to commit to keep living rather than just be alive. So this whole thing for me is about choosing versus consciously committing. It is about, am I alive or am I really, really living? And so I just want to remind us all that there is this invitation on the table all the time for us to become more conscious of our choices, for us to simply surrender to that incredible, amazing, divine momentum that is the very essence of our being, that is the very divine energetic flow of everyone and everything, and just allow it to unleash itself in, through, and as us without thinking about, oh, how much of it do I want to experience now? Is this the right time? Maybe I should wait for half an hour. Maybe I got to set a timer. I don't know. Maybe sometimes we just got to live life with abandon, and just see what happens. No expectations, no limitations, just allow with openness and curiosity, right? Like is in our affirmation, just allow life to flow. And then sometimes when you let that happen, what ends up happening is your husband grabs you by the hand, takes you down the aisle to the stage, and you find yourself singing with thousands of people in a hall, singing to a song that you kind of know, but not really, so you have to keep looking up at the screen every now and then to know the lyrics, and having the time of your life while you're doing it. Every moment we are at choice. Are we alive or are we living? Are we simply existing or are we ready to commit living as fully and as awesomely and as consciously as we can from one now moment to the next and the next and the next? The choice is ours. So are you ready to take it? Yes. Thank you. And so it is.